is so funny. She's like debating. That's okay. Respect. Like, she's just like trying to debate this dude. That's wild. Okay, that's a wild thing to say. Okay, she's just a debate lord. Never mind. She's given the smoke. She's given the smoke to the IDF guy too. Respect. She was like, at first I thought, you know, maybe she's like biased or what's going on here. And no, she's not even both sides. She's like both sides bad. I'm giving the smoke to everybody. I have no dog in this fight except I love debate. The thrill of debate is what keeps me going. Respect to this person. Yeah, I saw the dying Gazans. Okay, last thing I want to cover, the terror tunnels. This video contains graphic content. Uh-oh. I feel like Al Jazeera is the perfect lib explainer that is palatable to boomer libs who watch MSNBC. I just wish it wasn't called Al Jazeera because my dad pointed out the Muslim name immediately. That's awesome. That's hilarious to me.
Under here. And this was your door.
By the way, Central Committee is correct. Michael from Pennsylvania is correct. That is why they call it AJ Plus, or at least they used to. Or I mean, I guess they still do. Which I famously, technically worked at, I guess. Well, not really. I worked with them at a certain point. Because all of my friends that were at Current, when I was at the Young Turks, and Young Turks was under the Current banner before Al Gore sold Current to Al Jazeera, you know. They interviewed both Hamas and Israeli militants. I don't get it. Why is she allowed to be there without a fucking veil? Why is she not wearing a hijab? Seems interesting. This is contrary to my opinion of how life in Gaza looks like and works. Al Gorzia? Yeah. Many of you didn't know that.
In May, a major escalation between Israel and Hamas erupted.
During 11 days of fighting, 13...
They must immediately apprehend her and violently behead her, right? That's how it works. That's how them Muslim mans work. At least they haven't said Allah Akbar yet. If they did, I would know. It's happening. I'd tell her, watch out.
Israelis and 260 Palestinians were killed. Hasan al-Atta was on call throughout the conflict. He's a rescue worker with the Palestinian Civil Defense, who are funded by the Hamas government. His job is to find and pull out those who are trapped under crumpled buildings.
عشان لقناها هنا بالضبط هي والولاد بالضبط في النتفة هذا هي وولادها الثلاثة الأربعة كانوا هنا عابطين بعض كله عابط بعض هيك وجاي العمود البطون العمود الحزام اللي زي هذا جاي على راسها من هنا وعلى وجهها هي وولادها لا جابوهم على المستشفى وانا رحت على الثلاجة اشوفهم بس
I went to the morgue to identify them. My colleagues brought them to the hospital.
Is this your daughter's scar?
هذا كانت قاعدة هذا شرشف التخت الصغير تبعهم اللي بقعد عليه الصغار.
This is blood?
هذا دم منها هي. عندي صورة للبنت هيها معي صورة إلها هي ولادها.
Beautiful, Jamila. And this is Ismek?
هذا سلام أول واحد.
And how old is he?
عمره.
Remember, that's who Israel is killing when they fucking bomb the Gaza Strip. Remember?
9 سنين. هذا أميرة عمرها 6 سنين. هذا محمد عمره 8 شهور.
During the war, your job is to pull people out from under the rubble, but I imagine that it must have been a very difficult experience to pull your own children and grandchildren out of under this building.
أنا كان أملي في الله إني ألاقيهم طيبين وأنا بدور. كنت كعامل كل جهدي إني ألاقيهم طيبين. ويما لقيت مستشهدين قلت خلاص أنت اللي أعطيتني إياه وأنت اللي أخذته. هو الأمر صعب مش سهل. أنا من يوم ما صارت القصة لليوم أنا ببكيش على الكاميرا ولا قدام الناس، لكن لما بكون لحالي ببطلش بكى.
It seems like a lot of the other buildings around here are still intact. Why is it that the Israeli Defense Forces was targeting this building specifically? Were there any Palestinian militants, any Hamas members, any Islamic Jihad members in this building?
لا أنا البيت ما فيش كلهم مدنيين، ما لهمش في التنظيمات من مرة.
Civilians in this region find themselves trapped between two bitter forces, Israel and the Palestinian militant group Hamas. In this most recent escalation, Hamas began firing thousands of rockets into Israeli territory, following Israel's efforts to forcibly evict Palestinian families from Sheikh Jarrah.
I like that they said the violent retaliation before they mentioned like what it was a response to. That's cool. Okay. All right. Got it.
The Israel Defense Forces responded with an aerial bombardment that obliterated residential buildings, shops, and factories. Most Palestinians living in Gaza are unable to leave because of the strict blockade on goods and people. Vice News spent months securing access to both sides in an
I love the brain processing power of dudes like this. Is this Hassan Akbar? Meanwhile, in Ukraine, sunglasses emoji. Hamas attack music festival, sunglasses emoji. Israeli attack Gaza. Cry, pray. Got it, dude. Thanks. You did it.
Attempt to understand the military players involved in a conflict that has angered and rallied people around the world. In the middle of the night, Hamas's military wing, the Al-Qassam brigades, took us to an undisclosed location and asked us to disguise the voices of certain Hamas members.
These guys are extremely concerned about security and us not knowing where we're going, so they're going to be blindfolding me.
Damn, bro, they could, dude, all it would take right now, the fuck? All it would take right now is for Jermaine Bolt to just locate them. You know what I mean? What the fuck?
And taking us to the next spot.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
I don't know what the black bands signify. Is it Al-Qassam? Is it Al-Qassam? Which would be the militant wing of if apartheid one day ends and there's actual progress towards a one-state solution, how would that work if Israel is a state of Jewish citizens only in its constitution? I don't know if you ever talked about this. Yeah. It won't. EIJ, Islamic Jihad.
We are about to reach 2 meters. Okay, you can stand here, don't move.
Wow.
That motherfucker has a British accent.
Okay, this is the tunnel entrance.
So we're having to take all of this off.
I've located them already.
Nothing is allowed down. We're having to
I've located them already. It's over.
Give over everything before we go down there. And we'll take their equipment from now on to make sure that there's absolutely zero tracking devices or any way of anyone knowing the location of where we're going to go.
These tunnels are built to be out of sight from Israel's drones and have been used in the past to launch attacks on their enemy. On the night that Hasan's family was
It's nice that they gave her a helmet, like inside of the
killed, 160
inside of the tunnel
Israeli
structure.
warplanes dropped 450 missiles and shells in just 40 minutes. The IDF says this was with the explicit intention of destroying Hamas's underground tunnel network.
This is also a flex. Like, this is, I feel like bringing a vice journalist into their complicated tunnel structure after Israel claimed that they brought it down is like, they do this as a flex, like where they just like, nah, our tunnels are fine.
Watch out, you're about to rise.
Come on.
We were given exclusive access inside these still active tunnels. These Hamas militants are internationally designated as terrorists.
So we're currently deep underground somewhere in the Gaza Strip. Got permission after days and days of back and forth talking about security issues. But they have finally let us down here
because they're keen to show that despite the fact that Israel says that they've destroyed
I was right.
over
Yeah, it is
60
the flex.
miles of these tunnels, that they're still going strong. They are rebuilding their tunnels. They're still got an extensive network that they can use to move people around and to store weaponry. What makes you so...
This is also partially the other reason why it's fucking bullshit to be like, oh yeah, we're blowing up. We're destroying their tunnel system by blowing up the fucking residential neighborhoods above. It's ridiculous. They're not blowing shit up. They're not blowing it up at all.
certain that
this is from 2 years ago.
The Al-Qassam Brigade and ultimately turning to violence is the answer here.
There's no other solutions but this weapon.
Abu Khalid is 25 years old. He's one of thousands who joined Hamas as a teenager and has been active in the group ever since. The fact that you're down here in tunnels that have been built under civilian areas, you're launching rockets from civilian areas as well, doesn't that mean that you're endangering Palestinians that you claim to be fighting for?
We are sacrificing ourselves and our times and everything we do in order to ensure a better future for our children.
This motherfucker was taught by a British teacher in a UNRWA school. They're not British. He was taught by a British teacher, though, 100%. 1,000%. It's like typical, same shit with like, because they teach British English in Turkey as well.
But are you
That's
also
probably
not
from the
sacrificing
UNRWA
civilians
schools.
that are directly above you?
Of course, we don't want them to get killed or to get targeted, but this is the only choice we have. This is what we can do, and they are supporting us. You can go to the sea, you can go to the air, you can go to anywhere. So that's why we are building.
My favorite thing is when they go, dude, they took out the fucking, the water pipes that are PVC to build rockets. And then you look at the rockets and it's like you can't make a rocket like that. You can't make a rocket with PVC, man. You can't do that. Okay. There's no need for them to like bust out the fucking water pipes to build rockets. They're already getting it from, other neighboring.
50 Palestinians are dead after this.
For Al-Qassam building tunnels. This is the only mean which is possible for Al-Qassam brigades.
Over 250 Palestinians are dead after this just 11 days. 13 Israelis are dead. This is just one of so many escalations.
I know, I saw the video too. I saw the video of them saying like they took out the fucking water pipes and made rockets with it.
Over the last few years. And it's only a matter of time before the next one. Okay. What is any of this really achieving?
The one who started this war, not Hamas or not the Palestinians, but the Israeli occupation. And
but you guys fired the first rockets.
It's so funny. She's like debating. That's okay. Respect. Like, she's just like trying to debate this dude. That's wild. Okay, that's a wild thing to say. Bro, that video was filmed by a very wealthy NGO. I do not think that was Hamas. Yeah, I know. I don't believe that video.
Who said that? We warned them. We tell them not to storm our holy land. We're talking about a holy site for Muslims. It doesn't mean.
Wait, what? Pretty weird to assume smuggling thousands of rockets is easily done. Pretty sure it could be manufactured. You think they have rocket manufacturing facilities inside of Gaza? With what supplies? Brother, they are not allowed to have concrete because they build tunnel systems. What? You think they have like, you think they get like complex metals and shit? And they have like a secret factory facility where they're just like building rockets? You're in his tunnel right now. Show him respect. True. That's actually true. Debate lording in Hamas tunnels against the Hamas PR guy. No, some of those tunnels lead in the direction of other countries, or at least the one country that you can that you can go to from Gaza that's not Israel.
That the first rocket was launched from Gaza mean that we started the war. The first aggression is the occupation. They stormed our home, so it will keep going unless.
Wait, they do have rocket factories, really? I always thought that they just snuck it in. Hamas released a new aircraft anti-tandem projectiles. These are called 100 and 105 millimeter Al-Yasin projectiles, apparently based on anti-tank RPG projectiles. They can be fired from RPG launchers. Wait, that's the factory, chatter? This is your... Okay, I need to explain something to you. Okay? Those are assembly lines of bomb materials that are being secretly smuggled in to the Gaza Strip through complex tunnel systems. That is not a factory. There's no metal milling happening here. What the fuck? Is there? Am I crazy? Am I losing my mind? Bro, they put so much effort into their video. Their video division is kind of crazy. They do get nutty with it, with their video, like with the music and shit. Like, and one really funny thing that I always see in like these kinds of videos from militant groups, and it's consistent, doesn't matter, all the way from Rojava to fucking ISIS to Hamas. Okay, and these are not guys that are fond of one another, obviously. One thing that remains is the usage of slow motion and then immediately going fast. Like they do the slow motion and then speed it up. It's like everyone's favorite editing technique. I don't know why everybody universally uses that, but they fucking love that shit. Yeah, chatter, this is not a factory. But yes, they sneak in materials and they assemble it. That's not a, I don't think that's a factory. A factory would require like CNC machines. A factory is where you would make the original parts that they're assembling. I don't think they have a factory. Yeah, the rockets say assembled in Gaza. Assembled in Cupertino. Designed in Cupertino, assembled in Gaza. Okay, I don't know if there's gonna be some blood on this, so. Okay. Read this article. Hamas produces the vast majority of his own Qassam rockets these days. So the researcher, given the difficulty smuggling in larger rockets in the blockaded Gaza Strip, how the group manufactures the makeshift rockets is less known. In previous battles with Israel, Hamas is known to have fired rockets made out of old water pipes, the researcher noted. A senior Hamas official based in Lebanon gave details on the group's weapons manufacturing in an edited interview with Russia Today's Arabic news channel, RT Arabic. We have local factories for everything, for rockets range of 250 kilometers, for 160 kilometers, 80 and 10. We have factories for mortars and their shells. We have factories for Kalashnikovs and their bullets. We're manufacturing the bullets with permissions from the Russians. We're building it in Gaza. Bro, they got the IP. They're still respecting international intellectual property rights, which is interesting. All right, let's finish.
Israel, stop. They're occupying for our lands.
These men saw the occupation of their land and the raid of Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque by Israeli police as justification for what came next. But the Israelis see Hamas's unsparing use of rockets as a direct threat to their national security. We met the man in charge of the Israeli Air Force, which ran their side of the battle from the skies. This is the first time that Major General Amakin Norkin has spoken with international media.
The distance between Beersheba to Gaza.
Bro, the amount of babies this dude has in his fucking... The amount of babies this dude has under his wing. Holy shit.
It's 40 kilometers.
So the nearest base to Gaza is 40 kilometers?
Yes. In a minute you can see the border of Gaza Strip. This is Gaza. It's 5 minutes flight. F-16.
Wow.
So it's very thin. Now you can see better Tel Aviv. Over there.
Oh, Tel Aviv is here.
Yeah.
I see.
And Jerusalem is over there. Okay, so everything is very, very close. And hundreds of thousands of citizens living under threat. 24/7 threat.
How many times over the 11 days of conflict did you fly towards Gaza?
Oh, thousands.
Thousands.
Yes.
We recognize by our intelligence and our UAV a rocket launcher. Those rockets supposed to launch to the Israeli cities.
Is there a rocket launcher here?
Yes, there is a rocket launcher. You can see it in a minute, but they said here in Hebrew, there is people walking on the street near the rocket launchers. So you cannot attack. You cannot attack. There is no...
Yeah, they always, man, they show so much restraint. So much restraint. Here's, for no particular reason whatsoever, an Israeli airstrike on a house belonging to the Barhum family has killed at least 12. The house is in Rafah, the furthest point in south in Gaza, and people inside included relatives who had fled from the north as ordered by Israel. Madness. Just, you know, just to put what he's saying into the perspective of the real fucking world, okay? His actions are very different than what he's showing as a part of this PR campaign.
Other military, there is no other air force all around the world that use such a methods like I present to you by...
Okay, first of all, there is no other air force around the world that has maintained a steady bombing campaign over a civilian population for as long as Israel has. What the fuck are you saying? That literally is not a thing. What? Like even America in Iraq and Afghanistan was, of course, still routinely bombing the living fuck out of villages and shit where just people lived that didn't do anything and killed a shit ton of civilians and children. But like it was a significantly shorter period of time. Okay?
Calling the enemy and ask them, please get out from your house because your house is a target.
Sometimes that happens.
No.
Not all the time.
When we know that there is people at the house which are not terrorists, we did it. And we did it thousands of times, not once or two, thousands of times.
I mean, Hamas obviously fired over 4,000 rockets, and your military was thankfully able to intercept most of them. You have fighter jets, you have air-to-air missiles, you have air-to-land missiles, you have drones.
Okay, she's just a debate lord. Never mind. She's given the smoke. She's given the smoke to the IDF guy too. Respect. She was like, at first I thought, you know, maybe she's like biased or what's going on here. And no, she's not even both sides. She's like both sides bad. I'm giving the smoke to everybody. I have no dog in this fight except I love debate. The thrill of debate is what keeps me going. Respect to this person. Just a debate lord at heart. You know what I mean? Look at his face. My face when I'm told I shouldn't be murdering babies with my superior air force that I dominate over a densely packed open air prison. He's giving me the INFG stare, okay? The INFJ stare. The INTJ? I don't fucking know. Also known as you just told me I can't bomb babies indiscriminately stare. Really fucked up.
The Israeli Defense Forces have killed 20 times the number of Israelis.
She's laughing, dude. She's like, you're ridiculous.
Who have been killed. How is it proportionate or justifiable to be using this machinery in a very densely civilian populated area.
Well, this is not the way that I would.
Yeah, he's like, oh man, if you only had a press vest right now and I had a sniper trained on your position, things would be very different. I'm way more comfortable. I'm way more comfortable in that dynamic. Actually, can we change this a little bit? Change it around. Put the press vest on.
I would like describe the situation.
But that is the situation.
No,
I mean,
the
20 times the
situation
number of people
is-
that you've killed
The
versus
situation
the number of
is
Israelis that have died.
We don't want to act. We react because we cannot accept the Hamas or the Islamic Jihad is launching rockets toward Jerusalem or toward any other city.
But I mean, the problem is that both sides say that they're defending themselves. And so you have to recognize that there is obviously a power imbalance. And as the stronger side, do you accept responsibility for the disproportionate number of civilians
Should I
that have died?
apologize because I'm stronger? No. Isabel, it's important for me. I am not attacking.
Yeah, the stronger side is supposed to exercise restraint. Like objectively, that's what you're supposed to do. Especially because like the people that you're bombing aren't the militants. You're bombing babies. Babies are dying. You've killed babies. Interesting that we have to debate this, but notice how he's getting progressively angrier. He's doing the "don't tell me I can't kill babies" stare. He's much you can see it now.
Citizens, they launch rocket toward the center of the cities. They want and they declare they want to kill Israeli citizens.
Okay.
Under international humanitarian law, warring parties can only target military objectives and must take all precautions to minimize harm to civilians, something both sides stress they do. But that's not true. The night that Hasan...
Yeah, Israel's war crimes matter way more than Hamas. Yep. Well, you know, definitionally, yeah. Especially because they're way more frequent. You know what I mean? One is a militant group that you can't really control. They don't give a fuck. They're terrorists. You know what I mean? The other one is like, my tax dollars are paying for it. Does that kind of strike you as odd? And also, I never said babies murdered with rifles and beheaded is resistance. Like I never said such a thing. I like that you had to shadow box with a much sillier argument that I did not make just so you could feel comfortable, but that's not what happened. It's not what I said, at least. So is there an opportunity here for you to just like, I don't know, be normal, or are you just going to make up stuff to get mad at? One professes to want to kill Jews. They're Jews. The other one wants to defend itself. That's crazy, dude. Yeah. Defending themselves from babies? Is this Israel's greatest enemy? Is that what you're saying? I like that he came in hot with the fucking condemn Hamas and then immediately was like, Israel's greatest enemies are babies that are inside of residential buildings. They are the strongest. These are Allah's bravest babies, okay? They must be taken out. It seems like Hasbara sent their Z team to the HasanAbi stream. No, there isn't much to say in the situation where the journalist is literally like, hey, you're killing children. Like you just keep bombing a densely packed open air prison full of kids and you keep bombing them. What's up with that? Which is a normal question I think most humans would ask. You know what I mean? Just like remove yourself from the ideological bounds that hold you back on this conversation, and you will realize like, oh shit, this is like really fucked up. You know what I mean? Like let's say it's the Islamic Jihad, okay, and they've been able to capture 2 million Jews and place them in like a ghetto, okay, an open air prison, and they're regularly blowing it up. But hey, hold on, the Islamic Jihad always gives a roof knock before they destroy the city block, right? And then they turn around and say, well, these Jews, they have, weapons in there. They're using human shields. You would literally, understandably, be a little pissed off about that. I think you would say, hey, that's fucking not cool. That's insane. That's the Holocaust, you would say. Yeah, I really am open to change my mind, but I don't see the genocidal fervor from Israel that I do from Hamas. Yes, because your eyes are closed. Did you just hear what I said? Let's say that the Islamic Jihad and Al-Qassam and Hamas have an area that they have occupied, right? Like they took over this area. Jews used to live there. Then they pushed these Jews, 2 million of them, into an open air prison. Okay. And then the Jews in that open air prison sometimes make like makeshift rockets and shit. Okay. And then they launch it whenever they get beaten up or brutalized on the other side in the occupied territory where there's another 2 million Jews living there. And this is occupied territory. They're under constant surveillance, constant threat of violence from the Islamic Jihad, right? Kind of like what you fantasize is the reason why Israel has to be genocidal, because if not, then the Muslim majority will come and do to Israel what Israel's been doing to the Muslim majority. So you know, the Jews in this ghetto, okay, in this open air prison, 2 million of them, are every now and then lobbing makeshift missiles, okay? And those missiles, of course, are almost always immediately intercepted by a massive operation that the American government, Chinese government paid for, right? It's called the Iron Dome. So then the Islamic Jihad gets in their fighter jets and drops bombs in this Jewish neighborhood of 2 million. Okay, this Jewish neighborhood that they completely control all the supplies that go into and out of. Okay, no food, no water. There's literally limitations. Like Jewish people can't have pasta in this neighborhood. Okay, do you really think that would be appropriate? The Islamic Jihad guy goes, Allah told me it's okay because I have to defend my people, and these Jews, they deserved it. If the Islamic Jihad guy said that, you would understandably go, nah, that's really fucked up. That's actually Holocaust 2 electric boogaloo. That's what you would say. Is that an eye-opening moment for you? You can admit that if it's an eye-opening moment for you, you can say it. It's not embarrassing. We love when people change their mind. By the way, the pasta thing isn't in place anymore. Well, I think right now nothing is going into the Gaza. But yeah, maybe they kindly allowed pasta to be given to the Palestinian people in Gaza. He made a donation, so he's genuinely trying to learn. Okay, that's good. That's nice.
Son's daughter and grandchildren died. Hamas authorities claimed that multiple guided bomb missiles dropped by the Israelis were responsible for their deaths. We were unable to corroborate the exact weaponry used, but the size of the craters, along with remnants discovered at the site, appeared to match this description. Hasan, his neighbors, and some of the 32 survivors we were able to speak with independently said the IDF did not call anyone in the building to warn them of the attack. If they had, they said, they would have evacuated. After initially denying that they had struck this location, the IDF later sent a statement to Vice News. They claimed they did not target the building where the Al-Atta family lived, but rather a terror tunnel placed in close proximity to the building. These underground networks, they say, are built in and beneath densely populated civilian areas, which puts lives at risk. The IDF did not elaborate on why it was necessary to destroy the residential building if it wasn't the intended target. They said the reason they did not call or evacuate civilians was because the building itself wasn't what they were aiming for.
Oops. الله يرحمه يحسن لي وانا اللي لحدتهم يعني انا اللي دفنتهم كلهم بايدي انا اللي دفنتهم انا اللي لحدت ضيع البهجه ضيع الفرحه على ناس كثير مش علينا احنا لحالنا الله يكون بعون كل انسان على حمله لان الامر العقل ما بيستوعبوش يعني انا بنت وولادي ايش ذنبهم
I think it's pretty wild to consider telling the world that you're the most moral army when like you just kill babies but in an extra moral way. You know what I mean? That's a crazy thing that just stuck for some reason. And I think that there's no other world in which that would be appropriate. Like if the victims were white and white, you know what I mean? Not like fucking Muslim white, like straight up just white, no one would consider that to be appropriate. Like it's only if they're black or brown, you know, Muslim, like only in that circumstance is it like, oh yeah, they are a moral army. Because like, think about it this way. If Russia was doing, you know, bombing campaigns in Ukraine, which it is, right, on civilian territory, which it does regularly, and it's a war crime, as I've fucking said many times over. But they were doing roof knocks. Like, do you think that that would be appropriate? Would the world be like, actually, we've decided that Russia is the most moral army because they're doing roof knocks before they end up taking out like the electrical grid, which is a war crime, which the entire global population collectively recognizes as a war crime. Now, would that be the moral army? No.
So we're inside Hamas training base right now. This is where they have their annual summer camps. There's hundreds and hundreds of kids here. But apparently this year, the number of young kids who have signed up and are wanting to join Hamas has exploded because of the recent conflict.
Wow. Funny how that fucking works. It's almost like every fucking bomb that kills, I don't know, 8 of your family members automatically create new people that want to violently resist against the occupation. How crazy how that works. Almost feels like the escalation of conflict and the increased violence only ends up increasing the likelihood of violent resistance. That's crazy. And I'm sorry, you cannot turn around and be like, yeah, that's why Israel is doing what it's doing. That's why Israel is so violent, because Israel still maintains all of the power in this situation. They're the ones who refuse to follow in good faith international rules and international designs that were given to them. The international community also does not force their hand in any meaningful way. America keeps giving them more and more money to do whatever the fuck they're doing. Like, we cannot comprehend this. We cannot comprehend this. We live in the imperial core. We're so fucking comfortable, dude. A guy cuts you off, you get mad, but then you forget about it because you can go back home and you know, eat your pasta and watch whatever fucking TV show you want to watch. You get it? Their lives are fucking death and destruction. Every moment is death and destruction. What do you expect in that circumstance? If you die at home doing nothing, you might as well go off fighting, even if it's for Hamas. Yes, that is the point. Exactly. That's my favorite classic MENA training, jumping in through a hoop. It's the funniest thing that I feel like every militant group does this. Every like non-state organized standing militant group has a fucking classic jumping through the hoop strategy. I don't know what that works for.
Some of these kids are as young as 15. They come here to get fitness training, military training.
Oh, it's on fire. Yes, that's classic.
الهدف من هذا التمرين تعليم الطلاب التجديد على الأهداف وربطهم بقضيتنا الوطنية اللي احنا بندافع عنها.
And in this simulation that was specifically designed for these trainees, who are you targeting? Who's the enemy?
احنا عدونا واحد هو العدو الصهيوني.
Bro, this dude is white as fuck. What the hell?
اللي اغتصب أرضنا واحنا مقاومتنا جاءت من انطلاق من حق.
Brother, take that face diaper off. Abu, take your face diaper off, brother. Fuck you mean? Yeah, that is literally what the U.S. military uses too, right?
يعني أصلي ونحن نمارس يعني حقا هو يعني أصليا لنا.
What would you say to people who, you know, would say that you are brainwashing young children and you're training them to fight for the benefit of Hamas?
احنا يعني لا نغصب الطلاب ولا نجبرهم على
They don't have to, brother. Israel does it.
على التسجيل في هذه المخيمات. هذا الجيل فتح عينيه على الدنيا على صوت القصف والدمار ومشاهد الترويع اللي بيتعرض لها المواطنين عندنا في غزة.
And do you think it's these kinds of experiences that motivate these young people to come to training camps like this?
أكيد أكيد.
Some of those boys are 18 now. talking to two cops at the gas station, and they said they're trying to get placed in the Navy Reserves. We don't want any part of what's going on over there. How is the money making in Gaza? How is the money making at the Gaza? These are the four charities, the four organizations that we're working with are on the ground, and they're sanctioned. They're allowed to receive funding. I will continue the fundraiser tomorrow as well. I love you all. I'm going to run this last 3-minute ad break here. And I am incredibly proud of all of you. I'm incredibly proud of this community. I cannot believe that we were able to raise almost $500,000 in 9 hours. That is fucking nuts.